Hello everyone, welcome back to this lecture series on approximate methods in quantum chemistry. This is lecture number 4. In the last lecture I discussed few applications of variation method, okay, in some simple systems. Okay, I discussed how to apply variation method to hydrogen atom, how to apply variation method for particle in 1D box problem, like that. In this lecture I am going to discuss one more application of variation method. Okay, that is application in a system where we have more than one electron. Okay, so I am going to take a helium atom as an example, and I am going to apply variation method to helium atom. Okay, yeah, let's get into the topic. So application of variation method, and here I'm going to discuss helium atom. We all know that the ground state electronic configuration of helium atom is 1s2. It means both the electrons are present in 1s orbital of helium atom. Okay, now how to write the wave function for the ground state electronic configuration of helium atom? Listen, for this case we can use the idea of orbital approximation, right? What is orbital approximation? According to orbital approximation, the total wave function of a many electron system can be given as the product of one electron wave functions. So here the two electrons are there, so I am going to write the total wave function for the ground state of helium atom as two one electron wave functions. Okay, so one electron wave function for 1s orbital of electron 1 and wave function for the 1s orbital of electron 2. Okay, so whenever a system with many electrons are given, okay, to write the total wave function, right, you can use this approximation called orbital approximation. In orbital approximation, we assume that the electrons are independent of each other. Okay, there is no interaction, right? If you assume the electrons are independent, okay, in the independent approximation we can write the total wave function as the product of one electron wave functions. So these are all one electron wave functions. One electron wave function. Okay, so this is on one electron wave function, this is another one electron wave function. So the product of these two will give you the total wave function, right? But so far we know only the wave functions of different orbitals of hydrogen atom alone, or hydrogen like ions alone, right? We really don't know what is the wave function for the 1s orbital of helium atom, or 1s orbital of lithium atom, or 1s orbital of carbon atom, because it is very clear that the wave function of 1s orbital of hydrogen and the wave function of 1s orbital of helium, they are not supposed to be same. They are not same. They are actually different. Okay, but right now I don't know what is the wave function of 1s orbital of helium atom. So what I am going to do, I am going to take hydrogenic wave function. I am going to substitute that wave function here. So that's why I am going to call this as an approximation, right? So under I am going to take hydrogenic wave function to construct the total wave function. So I am going to take hydrogenic wave function for 1s orbital of electron 1 and hydrogenic wave function for electron 2 also. Okay, so we call this as a basis functions, right? So in this model I am choosing hydrogenic wave functions as basis function. Using that I am constructing the total wave function for the ground state of helium atom. Okay, yeah. Now we know very well what is the wave function for 1s orbital of hydrogen. Right, wave function for 1s orbital of hydrogen can be given as 1 by root pi for hydrogenic species, right, or hydrogen like species, z by a naught whole power 3 by 2 into e power minus zr by a naught. This is the wave function for the 1s orbital of hydrogen atom and hydrogen like ions. Okay, now if I assume the 2 electrons in helium atom has 2 electrons. Suppose if electron 1 and electron 2 are independent, then I can assume that the electron 1 with the nucleus as separate atom and electron 2 with the nucleus as separate atom. So you will get you can take it as He plus ion like. Electron 1 with the nucleus will behave like one He plus ion. Similarly, electron 2 with the nucleus will behave like another He plus ion. Okay, so they are hydrogen like ions, right? Therefore, we can write the wave function 1s orbital. Okay, the wave function for 1s orbital of helium plus ion. Helium plus ion can be given as 1 by square root of pi into, you have to put the nuclear charge of helium here. Okay, z by a naught whole power 3 by 2 minus zr by a naught. This is a general formula. Okay, if there is no interaction, between the two electron, okay, then you can use this wave function for the one electron system. But we know very well, okay, the 2 electrons are in the atom only, right? Therefore, definitely there should be some interaction between the 2 electrons, right? I am going to incorporate that interaction through the nuclear charge. Because other things are constant, so I am going to incorporate the electron-electron interaction through the nuclear charge of the atom. Okay, listen, if you put Z as 2, it means both the electrons feels the nuclear charge as such. Okay, but what I am going to assume that if the 2 electrons interact, okay, with each other, then they may not feel the exact nuclear charge of the helium atom. That's the goal. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to replace this Z. Okay, I'm going to replace this Z and I'm going to put some parameter there instead of Z. Okay, say for example, I'm going to put parameter, say alpha, called variation parameter. Right, so I'm for incorporating the interaction, electron-electron interaction, right, I am going to replace the actual nuclear charge Z by some parameter called alpha. This alpha is called variation parameter. Okay, so let me show it in the next page. See this? So the trial, I am going to call this function as trial function. Okay, because I am taking hydrogenic wave function for the electron 1 and hydrogenic wave function for the electron 2, and this product will give you the total wave function. I am taking this total wave function as the trial wave function. Right? This multiplication of one electron wave function is what we call as orbital approximation. Right? And as I told you before, for He plus ion, right, in the absence of electron-electron interaction, you can put Z directly here and here. You can put Z, but as we are incorporating the electron-electron repulsion, right, or electron-electron interaction, okay, in helium atom, right, I am going to introduce, or I am going to replace the Z by the term Z by a new term called alpha, where this alpha is called variation parameter. Okay, let us check whether this alpha is exactly equal to Z or if it is different. If they are different, if alpha and Z are different, then we can say that the 2 electrons do not feel the actual charge of the nucleus. They feel only the effective nuclear charge. Okay, yeah, so that will do as that will try to understand as we go along this lecture. Okay, then so this is the 1s orbital wave function for electron 1 and 1s orbital wave function for electron 2 in atomic unit, right? The value of A naught become 1. So, and what is the value of n in helium atom? The two electrons in the ground state of helium atom, the two electrons are present in 1s orbital. So the principal quantum number value is 1. Therefore I am going to put 1 in the place of n. Similarly here also 1, and I am going to remove A naught. Okay, and I am going to put 1 in the place of A naught, so that you will get the wave function directly in atomic unit. So in atomic unit we can write this as 1 by pi, okay, alpha power 3 by 2, alpha power 3 by 2, because A naught value is 1, into e power minus alpha r1. This is the wave function, hydrogenic wave function for electron 1. Similarly, the hydrogenic wave function for electron 2 can be given as 1 by root pi alpha power 3 by 2 into e power minus alpha into r2 for electron 2. Okay, so this is the hydrogenic wave function for electron 1. This is hydrogenic wave function for electron 2. I am going to substitute these two here, and I am going to multiply, so that we will get the trial wave function. Okay, so you take the two wave functions, right, and multiply them, and in atomic unit you can remove this A naught as 1, or you can replace this A naught by the value 1. You will get the trial wave function like this. So this is the trial wave function for our system. I am choosing trial wave function like this. Listen, as we go along in this lecture series, I am going to tell you that there are many basis functions available apart from hydrogenic wave functions. Okay, so here I am choosing hydrogenic wave function, okay, for the 1 electron wave function, and I am constructing the trial wave function, right? So in our case, the trial wave function is constructed using hydrogenic wave function. Apart from hydrogenic wave function, we have other functions. We have Slater orbital functions, we have Gaussian functions. Okay, many functions are there. So if you if you introduce, or if you substitute other basis functions, right, you will get you will get different trial wave functions, and using those different trial wave functions, if you calculate energy, you will get better value. Okay, but what I am going to do now is I am going to use hydrogenic wave function as basis function, and I am going to calculate the minimum expectation energy possible for this trial wave function. Okay, now notice this trial wave function. In this function there is no imaginary quantity. There is no imaginary. Therefore, phi t star, that is complex conjugate of the function, phi t star and phi t both are one and the same, right? And this alpha cube by pi, okay, it is there because of the normalization constant. So this function is a normalized wave function, right? So since it is normalized wave function, in the expectation energy formula, right, we write expectation energy is equal to bra of phi t, right, then H operator ket of phi t divided by bra of phi t and ket of phi t, right? Since it is a normalized wave function, the denominator quantity becomes 1. Okay, so I am not going to write the denominator quantity in the expectation energy expression, right? Yeah. Now, okay, now listen, suppose if you assume the two electrons in helium atom are independent, then I have told you electron 1 with nucleus you can imagine as a separate He plus ion, and electron 2 with nucleus as another separate He plus ion. If you assume like that, then the energy of helium atom, ground state energy of helium atom in atomic unit, okay, can be given as this is the general formula, minus Z square by 2n square. Listen, in the independent particle approximation, right, the nuclear charge should be Z, the actual charge. Okay, this is the actual charge of the nucleus, right? Now in helium atom, the Z value is 2, right? So substitute 2 here, so minus 2 square is 4, and in helium atom the ground state, for the ground state n value is 1, therefore you will get by 2, so minus 4 by 2. Similarly here also minus 4 by 2, right? If you cancel this, you will get minus 2. Here also you will get minus 2 plus then minus 2. If you add them, you will get minus 4 atomic unit. Okay, if you convert atomic unit into electron volt, you know very well what we have to do. To convert atomic unit into electron volt, you have to multiply this by 27.2, right? So if you multiply this by 4, you will get minus 108.8 electron volt. Okay, so this is the electronic energy of helium atom in the independent particle approximation. That is, if you do not consider the electron-electron interaction, then this is the energy will get. Okay, but if you compare with the experimental value of electronic energy of helium atom, ground state electronic energy, is minus 79 electron volt. See, these two values differ in very, very larger extent. It means definitely this assumption is wrong. Independent particle approximation is a wrong one, right? The two electron definitely will involve in some kind of interaction. So we are going to account for the electron-electron interaction through variation method. Okay, yes, how to do that, right? Listen, so the expectation energy formula can be given as phi t star electronic. This is not helium. This is electronic Hamiltonian operator phi t. I told you the denominator term become 1 because the wave functions are normalized. Now, what is the electronic Hamiltonian operator for helium atom? Right? I repeat once again. This is not helium. I am representing this as electronic Hamiltonian operator. This is electronic Hamiltonian operator. Okay, so the electronic Hamiltonian operator for helium atom can be given as, right? Listen, I am not writing total Hamiltonian. I am writing only electronic Hamiltonian. So while writing electronic Hamiltonian, you can keep the nuclear kinetic energy, or you can assume the nuclear kinetic energy as 0. Therefore, what are the remaining terms we have? This is kinetic energy of electron 1 minus 1 by 2 del 1 square. I am writing the Hamiltonian directly in atomic unit. So you will get minus 1 by 2 del 1 square for electron 1. For electron 2, you will get minus 1 by 2 del 2 square. Then electron 1 nucleus attraction minus 2 by R1. Electron 2 nucleus attraction minus 2 by R2. So these two are the potential energies due to the attraction of electron 1 and electron 2 with the nucleus, right? And the last term, right, it is called electron-electron repulsion term. I have already told you, because of this term, right, the Schrodinger equation cannot be solved by analytical means, right? That's why we are using these approximate methods. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'll substitute the trial wave function and the electronic Hamiltonian, right? This is electronic Hamiltonian, I have told you. Substitute these here and calculate the expectation energy, right? So if I substitute, this is the phi t star, this is phi t, and this is the electronic Hamiltonian for helium atom. Okay, now listen, as I told you that if you incorporate, right, because we have already introduced alpha, if you incorporate the electron-electron interaction, then for this purpose, in order to incorporate this electron-electron interaction, what we did, we have replaced the actual nucleus charge by a parameter called alpha. So what I am going to do, I am going to bring alpha, right, in the Hamiltonian also. For this purpose, what I am going to do, listen, this minus 2 by R1, I am going to write this minus 2 by R1 as alpha minus 2 by R1, okay, minus alpha by R1. Right? See, if you separate this one, you can write it as alpha by R1 minus 2 by R1. And here you will be getting minus alpha by R1. So plus alpha by R1 minus alpha by R1 cancels. You will get minus 2 by R1. So if you write minus 2 by r1 as like this, it's nothing wrong in it. Okay, it gives you the same answer. Similarly, we can write minus 2 by r2 as alpha minus 2 by r2, okay, minus alpha by r2. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to replace minus 2 by r1 as alpha minus 2 by r1 minus alpha by r1. Similarly, I'm going to replace minus 2 by r2 as alpha minus 2 by r2 minus alpha by r2. So if I substitute these values, what will I get? Okay, see here. So this is kinetic energy of electron 1, and I have introduced alpha minus 2 by r1 term first, then minus alpha by r1, then this is kinetic energy of electron 2 minus alpha minus 2 by r2, okay, then minus alpha by r2, then the electron repulsion term, then the free tip wave function. Okay, now listen, this we can combine in a systematic manner as, see, I am going to combine minus 1 by 2 del 1 square minus alpha by r1. Why I am doing this? Because this is exactly same as the 1 electron Hamiltonian like hydrogen atom. Okay, so this is 1 electron Hamiltonian, right, for hydrogen atom having the nuclear charge alpha, because I told you for electron repulsion we have incorporated electron repulsion through the term nuclear charge, correct? So now that the nuclear charge is alpha, right? So this gives you the 1 electron Hamiltonian, okay, which appear like hydrogen like system. Then similarly, see the second term, I'll use a different color. See the second term. The second term here, that is minus alpha by r2, okay, yeah, I'm sorry, one second, yeah, let me do it here. The second term, what I'm going to do, see, take the kinetic energy of electron, I think I made a mistake, one second, yeah, this is 1 by 2 del 1 square, this is 1 by 2 del 2 square, right? This is kinetic energy of electron 2. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to combine this term, that is minus 1 by 2 del 2 square with the minus alpha by r2. This is another 1 electron integral or another 1 electron Hamiltonian, okay, which is also look like hydrogen like Hamiltonian. Okay, so if you have hydrogen like 1 electron Hamiltonian, then it is very easy to solve, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to separate this whole integral, okay, into small integrals. How? See, I'll take this as equation number 1, right? First I will write the first part of integral, that is take this function as such, take this function as such. See here, okay, now I am taking this part, that is minus 1 by 2 del 1 square minus alpha by r1 as a separate integral. So this is something look like the Hamiltonian for electron 1. Okay, this electron 1 Hamiltonian operates on the function e power minus alpha r1 alone. If it operates on e power minus alpha r1, what we will get? We will get this answer. Yeah, we will get I'm not going to solve the integral, okay, instead I am going to give you the value of the integrals directly, right? But it is very easy to do that. So if you apply this Hamiltonian operator on electron 1, we will get minus alpha square by 2. Okay, in atomic unit, this is nothing but the energy of the hydrogen atom, hydrogen like ion. Okay, this value is nothing but energy of the hydrogen like ion. Listen, if I apply this Hamiltonian operator to electron 1 function, then electron 2 function will remain there. But this electron 2 function, and here also we have electron 2 function, okay, since they are normalized, okay, yeah, that integral value become equal to 1. So you need not worry about that. Okay, similarly, see the second integral, this is exactly same as the second Hamiltonian operator for electron 2. So this is also a 1 electron Hamiltonian operator, right, for electron 2. This operates on the function e power minus alpha r2. right? And since it is also 1 electron Hamiltonian, when it operates on the function, you will get the same energy minus alpha square by 2, which is something similar to hydrogen like energy, okay, or the ground state energy of hydrogen like species. Okay, then the third integral, see alpha minus 2 is somewhat constant quantity. You can keep it out, and if you calculate, right, the integral of phi t star 1 by r1 phi t, you will get exactly this answer alpha, right? So this is alpha minus 2 into alpha, right? Similarly, if you go to the fourth integral also look like the third one. So the value of this integral also equal to alpha minus 2 into alpha, right? This last integral is very special. Why it is very special? Because this r, okay, it is actually the internuclear, it is actually the distance between the two electrons. So this integral is a 2 electron integral. It's a 2 electron integral, and we have a separate method to handle this type of 2 electron integrals, right? And we have idea to solve this integral, but I am not going to do that. I am going to give you the final answer of this integral value, which is a 5 by 8 alpha. Remember the 2 electron integral value, right, having the operator 1 by r12 is 5 by 8 alpha, right, always. Okay, keep this in mind, very very important. Now, so we have found all the integral values. Okay, substitute these values in equation number 1 again. If you substitute, what we'll get? See, expectation energy E is equal to, right, what is the value of the first integral? Minus alpha square by 2. Second integral, minus alpha square by 2. Third integral, yeah, alright, the first integral value is minus alpha square by 2. Second integral value also minus alpha square by 2. Third integral, alpha minus 2 into alpha. Fourth integral, alpha minus 2 into alpha. And the last one is 5 by 8 alpha. Okay, now if you add them, minus alpha square by 2 minus alpha square by 2 will get minus alpha square, plus here if you multiply, you will get alpha square minus 2 alpha. Similarly here also alpha square minus 2 alpha. Here you will get 5 by 8 alpha. Okay, minus alpha square plus alpha square cancels. So what we left with is, let me write it in the next page. So we have 1 alpha square here, and here we have minus 2 alpha, here also minus 2 alpha, so minus 4 alpha, right? So let me write it in the next page. So expectation energy E is equal to alpha square minus 4 alpha plus 5 by 8 alpha. Okay, this is the expression we get. We can simplify this further. 1 second, yeah. We can simplify this further. E is equal to alpha square, and you take LCM, so 8 into 4 32 minus 32 alpha plus 5 by alpha, you will get minus 27 alpha by 8, right? This is the expectation energy we get through this simplification. I'll take this as equation number 2. Listen here, it shows that expectation energy depends on the value of alpha. Okay, right? And we know very well, as alpha value increases, right, expectation energy decreases, reaches a minimum, and then increases. So how to find the minimum energy value, minimum expectation energy value? How to do that? What we have to do, you differentiate E with respect to alpha and put the value equal to 0. If you differentiate E with respect to alpha and if you substitute the value as 0, you will get a particular value of alpha, that is this value of alpha, right? If you know this value of alpha, then if you substitute that alpha in equation 2, you will get the minimum energy. Okay, see what I'm telling is very simple one. Differentiate this E with respect to alpha. So dE by d alpha equal to, this is actually called energy minimization. This is what we call it as energy minimization step. Energy minimization. So differentiate E with respect to alpha. What we'll get? 2 alpha minus 27 by 8. Then what we should do? Put the value equal to 0. So if we put dE by d alpha equal to 0, then we should put 2 alpha minus 27 by 8 as 0, or 2 alpha equal to 27 by 8, or alpha equal to 27 by 16. Alpha is equal to 27 by 16. I have told you this alpha, actually we have introduced this alpha in the place of Z. Okay, we have introduced this alpha in the place of Z to incorporate the electron-electron interaction. Okay, actually you know very well Z value for helium atom is 2. Right, Z value of helium atom is 2. If you put Z as 2, it means the 2 electrons feels the actual charge of the nucleus. Actual charge is plus 2. So both the electron feels the same charge plus 2. But if I replace that Z by alpha, and if you calculate the alpha value for the minimum energy, what we got is 27 by 16. What is the value of 27 by 16? 27 by 16 will give you 1.6875. Alpha value is 1.6875. This is the value of alpha, 75. Right? Listen, this value is less than 2. See this. This value is not equal to 2. So alpha value is less than 2. It means the 2 electrons, due to electron-electron interaction, some kind of interaction, the electrons, though they are present in the same shell, first orbit, we can say by as per Bohr model, right? 1s2 helium, the ground state electronic configuration 1s2, it means the 2 electrons are present in the first orbit as per Bohr model, right? Even though they are in first orbit, okay, they feel different nuclear charge. Okay, the 2 electrons, they do not feel the charge plus 2, they feel only 1.6875 charge, which is actually called the effective nuclear charge of helium atom. This is nothing but effective nuclear charge of helium atom. Okay, so why they feel less charge? Because of screening. So one electron screens the other electron, right? So because of screening effect, right, the electron feels less charge of the nucleus, which we call as the effective nuclear charge. Right? Now listen, at alpha value equal to 27 by 16, or at alpha value equal to 1.6875, okay, we will get the minimum energy. So what I am going to do, I am going to substitute this alpha value in equation 2, and I am going to calculate, okay, the minimum expectation energy for the ground state of helium atom using variation method. Right? So E is equal to, I am going to substitute the value, that is 1.6875 square alpha square minus, see the expression, alpha square. So alpha value is 1.6875, substitute that here as well as here. So minus 27 by 8 into 1.6875. Right? Let me do it with the calculator and tell you the value of these. Just a second. 1.6875 square will give me the value 2.8476 minus, and value of this one is 27 into 1.6875 divided by 8. This gives me a value 5.6953. Okay, if I subtract 2.8476, if I subtract, I am getting the answer as minus 2.8475 7 atomic unit. So this is the minimum energy, minimum expectation energy of helium atom using the chosen trial function phi t. Okay, for the given trial wave function, right, this is the minimum expectation energy for helium atom. Okay, in electron volt, what you have to do, multiply this value by 27.2, you will get the energy in electron volt directly. So multiply this value into 27.2, right? If I do it, I am getting the answer as minus 77.4 electron volt. Okay, this is the minimum energy we got through variation method. And you know very well the experimental result was, the experimental result is minus 79 electron volt. And I also told you using independent approximation, we got the energy of helium atom as minus 108.8 electron volt. So by incorporating the interaction, electron-electron interaction through the nuclear charge, right, we got a value which is almost close, not exactly close, which is almost close to the experimental value of the electronic energy of helium atom in the ground state. Okay, so this is the variation method. This is the application of variation method to helium atom, right? So now you know the value of alpha. The alpha value is 1.6875. Substitute this alpha value in the trial wave function. Okay, you will get somewhat better wave function, right, for the basis function, hydrogenic function that we have chosen. Okay, in the trial wave function, right? So I repeat, using hydrogenic wave function as basis function, we have constructed the trial wave function. For the trial wave function, right, we got the energy as minus 77.4. We can also improve this value by taking different basis function, right, that we are going to discuss as we go along in this lecture series, right? Yeah, so I stop here. We'll continue with the few more applications of variation method in the next lecture. Okay, thank you for listening.